Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jack Taylor, and you are on Imagine Easter Part 13. Wow. You ever put your foot in your mouth? It's a saying we have when we speak out of turn, when we talk without realizing what we're saying. And I think Peter is a master of this act. He's a successful fisherman before he casts his nets aside and follows Jesus. Jesus has called him to come and fish for people. He's one of the first of the followers and will rise to be among the chief of Jesus' followers. It is all about God's grace and nothing special in himself. Now, Jesus heals Peter's mother in law in partial fulfillment of Isaiah's promise that the suffering Messiah will take up our infirmities and bear our diseases. And Peter accepts the mantle with others as he preaches and heals and he casts out demons. He's there when the 5,000 plus and the 4,000 plus are fed. He sees power and he enjoys being close to it. When Jesus asks who the disciples think he is, it is Peter who jumps in and says, "Well, you're the Messiah, you're the Son of the living God." And Jesus tells him that God has given him this insight and then gives him an incredible promise about the foundation of the church based on this statement. But then Jesus starts talking about Easter, about going to Jerusalem, about suffering at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law. He speaks about being killed and about rising on the third day. It's Peter now who pulls Jesus aside and says, "Never, Lord, this shall never happen to you." And Jesus rebukes him. "Get behind me, Satan. You're a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." Have you ever pulled back and forth between incredible insights that could only come from God, and then moments later found yourself caught up in concerns and that warped any understanding of what God was up to? So often we get caught up in the back and forth of thoughts that arise outside ourselves as a stimuli to move us toward or away from God's designs. And Jesus speaks clear truth even when it's hard. So Peter continues to be caught up in impulsive verbalizations. On the Mount of Transfiguration, when Jesus' glory is unveiled, he declares that he would put up 3 shelters for Jesus from Moses and Elijah. God the Father himself has to speak this impulse into silence. And when Jesus washes his disciples' feet on the night before history's darkest moment, it is Peter who says, "No, you shall never wash my feet." And Jesus says, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." And then Peter declares, "Not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." He is all or nothing, up and down, back and forth, in and out. It's hard to believe, but right after what we view as the first communion service at the Passover meal, the followers of Jesus begin to argue about who is going to be the greatest. And Peter's in the thick of it, and Jesus says clearly, "Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift you all like wheat. But I've prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." Just like with Job, even Satan is restricted by the hand of Jesus to only go so far and no farther in his quest to conquer Peter. That same hand stands guard over us. And as Jesus declares again the detailed realities of Easter, Peter declares he will never let Jesus down. And Jesus says that when the crunch comes, Peter is going to betray him 3 times. Wisdom means that we will never overestimate our commitments, our competencies, our character in the heat of the moment. How often do we declare our loyalties in songs and promises? "Lord, I'll never let you down. I will always be the first to stand up for you. Take my heart, my soul, my life. It's all yours, now and forever." And then at the first opportunity, we find ourselves tongue-tied and stumbling and stuttering words and thoughts and ideas which betray the Holy One. When the opportunity to choose light comes, we turn our apart. We turn our eyes, our tongues away from light to darkness. We stumble and fall. We are so blind to the spiritual battle and wrestling going on around us and within us. Easter had to come because we are all like Peter in the moments of regret. We fashion ourselves as faithful only to fall. We consider ourselves as wise only to stumble into foolishness. We consider ourselves as loving and gracious only to lurch headlong into moments of despair, disgrace, impatience, unforgiveness, even betrayal. Peter's story, like ours, is a mix of grandeur and grime. It's a journey of hope and despair. It's a journey of great leaps of faith and great falls of failure. And Easter pulls us along toward grace because none of us would endure if we were left to ourselves. You know, Peter's story isn't finished at Easter, and neither is ours. We get a day at a time to get reoriented so we can repent and turn around toward truth and life again. Easter's getting much closer now. Join me tomorrow for another character who is living in the shadow of Easter. God bless you.